A few months ago, I was invited to share a story about a song at an event called Playlist Storytellers in Toronto. The story I decided to tell was about something incredible and profound that happened to me as a result of the crazy stuff that I do on the internet. It's a story that I'd never really shared with anyone before, and I felt a little uneasy about it, but it was received pretty well there, and so I thought it might be a good idea if I shared it with you as well. So here it is. Hope you enjoy.
16 years ago, I saw Shifty Shell Shock get his car repossessed at Rock and Roll Ralph's. I just gave you a really fucking crazy sentence. Let's unpack it. Let's start with the end. Rock and Roll Ralph's is this majestic 24-hour grocery store on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood. It's where I used to go. It's why I was there that night, to get a fun treat after I was done waiting tables. And it's also where I take my friends from the flyover states when you want to see a real bona fide famous person doing some normal people shit, like buying a pack of Zins or having your car repossessed. Which brings me to Shifty Shell Shock. Does anyone know who that is? Oh, this is awesome. Shifty Shell Shock was the lead singer of the rap rock nu metal band Crazy Town, who wrote the most popular song in America my sophomore year of high school. It is the reason why there is a steady stream of business to tattoo removal studios of 38-year-old mothers of two having butterflies removed off the small of their back. And it's also the reason why I finally had the courage to ask Mandy Proudman to dance with me in my sophomore year homecoming. So you gotta take the good with the bad. And I know it's Shifty because at 50 yards out, I can see he's wearing the exact same thing he was wearing in the Butterfly music video. Baggy pants, bleached blonde tips, and tattoos all over his torso. And I can see this because he's not wearing a shirt. Great look for a music video in 1998. Rough look for a parking lot at 1 a.m. while you're having your car repossessed. And I stare at Shifty for just long enough for it to be too long, and he notices me staring at him, and then we stare at each other for just too long for neither one of us to say anything. And so Shifty breaks the silence, and I think he's going to break my face. And instead, he cracks a smile, and he lightens the whole mood. He's just telling me jokes, and I'm like, this is the worst day of your life. And he's like, oh, it's all right, man. And that interaction, it stuck with me. It was really short, but it stuck with me so much to where a year ago, when he passed away, it was the first thing that I thought of, which is saying a lot, given everything that happened in the 15 years since we had last crossed paths. Shifty had become famous for another reason. He was a series regular on a television show called Dr. Drew's Celebrity Rehab. It is one of the few shows that you do not want to be called back for a second season. Shifty was called back for 4. At the same time, Shifty had become this sort of punching bag for the genre of music that he wrote, this rap rock nu metal stuff. It's very easy for people to forget that at one point in time, he wrote a song that they really loved, and I had become about this famous on the internet for telling stories about grief and loss and millennial culture. And so, as you can tell, Shifty falls right in the middle of that Venn diagram. And it's like the millennial council gets together and they shoot up a bat signal in the sky. It's like a finger with a mustache tattooed on it. And I'm summoned to the Notes app to try and like articulate the zeitgeist. And I'm having a hard time doing it, right? Because the internet wants me to punch down. The internet wants to hear a video about the guy who everybody loves to hate. And I want to write a video about the guy in the parking lot. So I write this. I say, Seth Binzer, which was Shifty's real name, was a man turned meme on 4 seasons of reality rehab TV. He was playing Russian roulette with sobriety and death while producers rolled tape in the name of entertainment that we are all complicit in his pain because we were entertained. And I said that try not to view him as some sort of Icarus-winged tragedy because I know that he had hope while he was flying. And that video fucking tanked. It could be my poetry, but I think it was that it wasn't the thing that the internet wanted. And this video that I expected to be seen by millions was viewed by no one. Well, not no one. Not no one. See, the next morning I woke up, I'm doing the thing you're not supposed to do. I'm like dopamine mining at dawn. Like the fucking, my 1-year-old son is in my arm and I'm like in my notifications, like, tell me how fucking cool I am. I go to like the gold mine, right? The DMs. At the top of the list, is a message from a woman, and she says, last night, in a moment of Last night, in a moment of grief and compulsion, I opened this app, and your video was the first thing that I saw, and it was the first nice thing that I had seen anyone say about my brother all day. I've been following you for about a year. I never would have thought you'd say something like that. Thank you so much. I'm sending this to my family. And I felt like such an asshole for thinking that it didn't matter because a lot of people didn't see it, right? And then a few days pass, and I get another DM. It's from Seth's mom. And she has seen the video dozens, if not hundreds of times now. And she wants me to send it to her so she can play it at Seth's wake, which she invites me to. I have very few hard rules in life, but I believe that if someone's mother invites you to go to their wake, you should attend, even if you don't fully understand why. And so I go, and it is, interestingly enough, a few blocks away from Rock and Roll Ralph's, and it is in this nightclub, and it's unlike any funeral that I've ever been to. Sadly, I've been to quite a few. There are bodyguards and a metal detector and a guest list, and I had a +1, which would have been a weird first date. And there are a lot of famous people there, just exactly how they were in their music videos 15 years before, but I learned my lesson, and I try to just look at my phone and not stare. And I'm hiding in the corner, and I'm thinking, okay, 2 LaCroix, shake some hands, and then get out of here. And then Seth's sisters find me, and they do the thing that he did. They bring just this lightness to this really heavy situation. They're so kind, and I realize that like maybe the reason why I'm here is because I provide some sort of novelty or levity, and I'm giving them a break in the middle of all of this shit because I'm a silly guy on the internet. And if that's the case, that's great. I can totally be that guy. And they asked me if I want to meet his mom, and I say yes, and I hug her, and she apologizes that she can't figure out how to play my video in front of everyone, and I'm so fucking grateful that she can't figure out how to play my video in front of everyone. I forgot to mention I'm shirtless in the video. Great look on TikTok, terrible look at a fucking memorial for someone you've never met. And we don't have much to say to each other, and which is fine. And so they start to walk away, but before they do, they introduce me to this woman who had also seen my video. And she had something that she wanted to tell me, and she shakes my hand. As Danny mentioned, I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is a fancy way of saying I have a PhD in grabbing people. And I will never forget the way she shook my hand. It was like if she held it long enough, I might be able to carry some of the weight. And she said, Seth saved my life. I said, yeah, we all like this music. That's why we're here, trying to do the thing, lighten it up. And she said, no, Seth saved my life. I met him on tour when I was 18, and I was addicted to drugs, and I didn't have any hope. I didn't want to be alive. And he didn't know me at all, but he paid for all my inpatient treatment, my stay at rehab, and I have been sober for 20 years because of Seth. And now I work in recovery and rehab, and I have saved hundreds of people's lives. And it's because of him. And I'm noticing that there are people coming around me. And all of these people start sharing stories about Seth footing the bill when they couldn't cover it for whatever kind of treatment that they needed, when they couldn't make their bills, when he was the person in the room sharing his story so they had the courage to be sober. And that the fucking tragedy is that Seth could do it for all of them, but he couldn't do it for himself. That's when I started to realize why I was there. Because I am a guy who tells stories. And that some night I might be invited to some place like this to tell a story about a song. And instead of telling you about the guy from the music video, I could tell you about the guy that I met in the parking lot.